Kelly Wright sat cross-legged on the floor of her quarters, laughing as Scout chased his tail in circles. The golden puppy had been in her care for just a few hours, but already she felt her stress melting away. "You're supposed to be a secret," she told the dog, scratching behind his ears. "But you're too cute to keep hidden." Her door chimed, and she quickly scooped up Scout, hiding him behind her desk. "Come in." Ryan Pottle entered, carrying a tablet. "The Draveri want to meet again in 1 hour," he said. "Captain asked me to get Scout back to her quarters without being seen." "Good luck with that," Kelly said as Scout wiggled free and ran to greet the newcomer. Ryan smiled despite himself as the puppy jumped around his feet. "Come on, we'd better hurry." In the corridor, they tried to look normal as they walked toward the captain's quarters, Scout hidden inside Ryan's jacket with just his nose peeking out. They were almost there when they turned a corner and nearly collided with 2 Draveri officers. The aliens stepped back, their 4 eyes blinking in synchrony. "Apologies," Ryan said quickly. "We were just heading to a meeting." The taller Draveri looked at the strange bulge in Ryan's jacket. "What is that movement?" Before Ryan could answer, Scout's head popped out, tongue lolling happily. The Draveri jumped back, reaching for weapons that weren't there. "It's just a puppy," Kelly explained, trying to sound casual. "A young dog. They're common on Earth." The Draveri stared, clearly confused. "You carry your young animals in your clothing." "Sometimes," Ryan said, deciding not to explain further. "Excuse us, we're late." They hurried away, but the damage was done. As they delivered Scout to Lisa's quarters, Ryan shared his concerns. "Those Draveri look too interested in Scout. I think we should tell the captain what happened." Meanwhile, in the ship's main conference room, Lisa faced Commander Xerak across a long table. "Your species puzzles me, Captain Daniels," Xerak said, his voice a low rumble. "You claim to come from a planet with dangerous predators, yet your ship carries minimal weapons. You speak of peace while exploring space. The most dangerous frontier." Lisa maintained her diplomatic smile. "We believe in being prepared for threats, but not seeking conflict. A strange philosophy," Xerak replied. "In Draveri culture, strength must be demonstrated. Words mean nothing without action." Alan Martinez, sitting beside Lisa, leaned forward. "Perhaps we could arrange a demonstration of our training methods. Show rather than tell." Xerak's interest visibly increased. "Yes, show us how humans prepare for battle." The next morning, in the ship's gym, a group of Draveri officers watched as the human crew performed their standard physical training. The aliens seemed unimpressed by the running, jumping, and weightlifting. "These are not warrior exercises," one of them muttered. "Where is the combat? Where is the blood?" Lisa tried to explain. "We focus on fitness and coordination. Combat training is separate and—" Her words were cut off by a commotion at the gym entrance. All heads turned to see Scout bounding across the floor, followed by a frantic crew member trying to catch him. "Sorry, Captain," the young man called. "He got away when I was feeding him." The puppy ran straight to Lisa, jumping excitedly around her feet. The Draveri watched with strange intensity. "What is this creature's purpose?" Xerak demanded. "Is it food? Or perhaps some kind of parasite?" "Neither," Lisa said, picking up Scout. "This is a companion animal. Many humans keep them for emotional support." The concept seemed to confuse the aliens even more. They huddled together, speaking rapidly in their own language. When they finished, Xerak approached Lisa again, studying Scout with all 4 eyes. "Our surveillance shows many of your crew interacting with this small beast. It seems important to your species." Lisa froze. "Surveillance? Of course. We monitor all activities on your ship. Security protocol." Xerak's tone suggested this was perfectly normal. "We have observed your crew showing strange behavior around this creature, smiling, making high-pitched sounds, appearing calmer afterward." Ellen stepped forward. "It's called petting a dog. It's relaxing. Relaxing. Sarek repeated the word like it was foreign. During a first contact mission, Lisa could see the cultural gap widening. How could she explain pets to a species that valued only strength and battle prowess? Perhaps, she said carefully, there are many things our species can learn from each other. The mood on the U.S. horizon grew tense over the next 2 days. More Draveri ships had arrived, surrounding the human vessel in what felt less like a diplomatic meeting and more like a trap. In the ship's command center, Lisa studied the tactical display with Alan and her other senior officers. 7 warships now, Alan said quietly, all heavily armed. Lisa nodded. I think our friends are losing patience with diplomacy. The Draveri military database we've been allowed to access shows they value displays of force, Ryan added. They believe a species that won't demonstrate its combat abilities must be either weak or hiding something. Before Lisa could respond, her communication device beeped. Captain Daniels, Commander Xarak requests an immediate meeting. He says it's urgent. Lisa straightened her uniform. Tell him we'll meet in 30 minutes. After the call ended, she turned to her team. Any suggestions before I go? Natalie Foster, the ship's medical officer, spoke up. Captain, maybe we should tell them the truth about Scout. The puppy seems to fascinate them. It might help them understand humans better. Lisa considered this. Maybe you're right. Let's see what Sarek wants first. In the main conference room, the atmosphere was colder than space itself. Zarek stood with 4 other Draveri officers, all wearing what appeared to be light battle armor. Captain Daniels, Zarek began without the usual greetings. My superiors have reviewed our reports on your species. They are concerned. Concerned about what? Lisa asked, keeping her voice steady. You claim to be explorers, yet you hide your true capabilities. No species survives the early stages of development without warrior instincts. Zarek's 4 eyes narrowed. We believe you are concealing your real strength. Lisa shook her head. We've been completely transparent. No. Zarek slammed a 6-fingered hand on the table. Your behavior defies all logic. Your crew shows more emotion toward that small furry creature than toward potential enemies. This makes no sense unless the creature serves some military purpose. Ellen tried to intervene. Commander, I assure you. Silence. Zarek's voice echoed in the room. My patience ends today. The Draveri Empire cannot risk alliance with a species that hides its true nature. He stepped closer to Lisa, towering over her by at least 2 feet. You have one final chance, Captain. Show us your full military capabilities. Unleash your beasts of war that you clearly value so highly. Prove your species worthy of respect. The room fell silent. Lisa knew this moment would define humanity's relationship with the first alien species they had encountered. Behind her, she heard the conference room door slide open. Captain. Kelly's voice came from the doorway, sounding worried. I'm sorry to interrupt, but... A golden blur shot past Kelly's legs and into the room. Scout, somehow free again, raced around the conference table, barking happily at the new visitors. The Draveri officers jumped back, reaching for weapons. Zarek's face showed a mixture of shock and what might have been disgust. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. Is this some kind of insult? Lisa moved quickly, scooping up Scout before he could jump on the aliens. The puppy squirmed in her arms, trying to lick her face. Commander Sarek, she said, looking directly at the towering alien, you asked us to unleash our beasts. She nodded toward the puppy in her arms. You mean this cute pup? The room went completely still. The Draveri officers stared at Lisa, then at Scout, then back at Sarek, waiting for his reaction. For a moment, Lisa thought she had made a terrible mistake. Then she saw something change in Zarek's expression, a subtle shift in his 4 eyes, a slight tilt of his head. You bring this, cute pup, to a confrontation with the Draveri Empire. His voice was quieter now, filled with something Lisa couldn't identify. You face our warships with this small creature as your defender. Lisa suddenly realized how the situation must appear to a warrior culture. Before she could explain, Saruk turned to his officers and spoke rapidly in their native language. The other Draveri looked at Scout with new interest, and one even took a step back. When Saruk turned back to Lisa, his manner had completely changed. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "we have underestimated your species, Captain Daniels." The human crew watched in confusion as the Draveri's attitude shifted. One moment they had been threatening war, and the next they were staring at Scout with what seemed like newfound respect. "Captain," Ryan whispered, "I think we're missing something important here." Lisa nodded slightly while maintaining eye contact with Saruk. She kept Scout in her arms, the puppy now calm and curious about the strange beings. "Commander Saruk," she said carefully, "I believe there may be a misunderstanding about our companion." Saruk tilted his head. "There is no misunderstanding. Your actions speak clearly." He gestured toward Scout. "In Draveri culture, only the most confident warriors bring small, seemingly harmless creatures to battle." Ryan's eyes widened as the pieces fell into place. "Oh no," he muttered. "What?" Ellen asked quietly. "They think we're showing off," Ryan explained under his breath. "In their culture, this must be like bringing a knife to a gunfight. A sign you're so skilled you don't need proper weapons." Lisa caught Ryan's explanation and tried to correct the mistake. "Commander, Scout is not a war beast. He's what we call a pet, a companion for comfort and friendship." Saruk made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Your deception continues. Do you take us for fools?" He pointed at Scout. "We have studied this creature through our surveillance. Your crew's behavior changes in its presence. Stress levels decrease. Cooperation improves. Clearly, it serves a military function." The other Draveri officers nodded in agreement. "But that's not," Lisa began. "Perhaps," Saruk interrupted, "it releases chemicals that affect your brain function. Or perhaps it has hidden abilities we cannot detect." Before Lisa could respond, the ship's communication system beeped. "Captain," Greg's voice came through. "The Draveri fleet is changing formation. They're backing away." Lisa looked at Saruk questioningly. "I have ordered our ships to maintain a respectful distance," he explained. "It is clear now that your species is more dangerous than we initially believed." Ryan stepped forward, determined to fix the misunderstanding. "Commander, I've been studying your cultural records. I believe there's a serious miscommunication happening. In human culture, puppies are not weapons or tools. They're companions we care for because they bring us joy." "Joy?" one of the other Draveri officers asked, sounding confused. "Yes," Ryan continued. "Emotional happiness. They have no military purpose." Saruk's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "You expect us to believe you bring non-combatants on a dangerous space mission simply for emotional comfort?" "That's exactly what we're telling you," Lisa confirmed. The Draveri officers huddled together, speaking rapidly in their language. Lisa heard what sounded like heated disagreement. Finally, Saruk turned back to the humans. "Captain Daniels, your claims contradict all logic. No species would risk valuable resources on creatures with no tactical advantage." His upper eyes narrowed. "There are only 2 possibilities. Either you are lying to hide this creature's true purpose, or your species is so naturally powerful that you can afford such inefficiency." Lisa sighed. This was going nowhere. "Commander, would you like to interact with Scout? Perhaps that would help you understand." Saruk hesitated, then nodded stiffly. "I will examine this pet." Lisa slowly approached and held Scout toward the alien commander. The puppy wagged his tail and tried to sniff Saruk's hand. The Draveri leader cautiously extended one 6-fingered hand. When Scout licked his gray-blue skin, Saruk jerked back in surprise. "It attacked with its tongue," he exclaimed. "No, that's how dogs show friendliness," Lisa explained, trying not to smile. "Fascinating," Saruk murmured, reaching out again more confidently. As he stroked Scout's fur, his posture relaxed slightly. The texture is not unpleasant. Alan leaned closer to Ryan. Did we just achieve peace through puppy therapy? I'm not sure, Ryan replied. But they still don't believe Scout isn't some kind of secret weapon. Maybe that's not so bad, Lisa said quietly. Sometimes being misunderstood has advantages. Scout barked happily, unaware that he had just become the most important diplomat in human history. The next day, Commander Xerox requested a tour of the U.S. horizon. Lisa agreed, hoping it would help improve relations between their species. She brought along Ryan, Alan, and Natalie to answer any questions about human technology and culture. And of course, Scout came too. Your medical facilities are smaller than I expected, Xerox commented as they entered the ship's medical bay. Where do you repair your wounded warriors? We don't repair people, Natalie explained. We heal them. Most injuries can be treated right here. Xerox studied the medical equipment with his 4 eyes. And what of battle enhancements? Surely you have methods to increase strength and aggression during combat. We don't do that, Natalie said firmly. We believe in preserving life, not risking it unnecessarily. Xerox made a dismissive sound. Your species continues to puzzle me. As they walked through the ship, Scout trotted happily beside Lisa. The Draveri officers watched the puppy with intense interest. We would like to examine your pet more closely, Xerox said suddenly. If it is truly not a weapon, you should have no objection. Lisa hesitated. What kind of examination? Nothing harmful, Xerox assured her. Lieutenant Kraz has training in xenobiology. He would simply scan the creature. Lisa looked at Natalie, who nodded. I'll supervise. They returned to the medical bay, where Lieutenant Kraz, a slightly smaller Draveri with darker skin, took out a handheld device. Scout sat patiently as the alien waved the scanner over him. Suddenly, Kraz sneezed, then sneezed again, more violently. Lieutenant, Xerox asked with concern. Kraz sneezed a 3rd time, dropping his scanner. His skin began to change color, darkening from gray-blue to nearly purple. He gasped for air, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. What's happening? Lisa asked, alarmed. Natalie rushed forward with her medical scanner. He's having some kind of allergic reaction. The other Draveri officers stepped back, looking at Scout with new suspicion. Kraz continued to struggle for breath, but something else was happening too. His muscles seemed to be growing, bulging under his uniform. His eyes glowed with a strange light. Fascinating, Xerox murmured, not helping his officer. The defense mechanism is working. Defense mechanism? Ryan asked, confused. Our species has a unique immune response, Xerox explained calmly while Kraz wheezed and grew before their eyes. When exposed to certain toxins, our bodies produce combat chemicals that enhance strength and aggression. It helps us fight off threats. Lisa stared at him. And you're not concerned about your officer? Of course not. This is a valuable discovery. Xerox turned to Lisa with something like respect in his eyes. Your harmless pet is a biological weapon against our kind. Even its fur contains compounds that trigger our battle response. Natalie was scanning Kraz with growing concern. His vital signs are off the charts. Heart rate elevated, adrenaline through the roof. He needs treatment. I can help, she told the suffering alien. But I need to understand what's happening. Between gasps, Kraz managed to speak. The small beast, its proteins, like nothing our kind has encountered. Natalie worked quickly, synthesizing an antihistamine that might help. As she injected it into Kraz, the Draveri's color slowly returned to normal, and his breathing eased. The muscle enhancement remained, however. Remarkable, Xerox said, now looking at Scout with genuine admiration. A creature that appears harmless, but can incapacitate or enhance our warriors without any training. Truly, humans are more cunning than we thought. Lisa tried one more time. Commander, this was an accident. We had no idea Scout would affect your species this way. Of course you would say that, Xerek replied with what might have been a smile. Your deception is worthy of respect. To bring a biological weapon on a diplomatic mission, while pretending it is merely a companion, truly bold. Ryan sighed. I don't think we're going to convince them. Captain. Perhaps not, Lisa said quietly. Then she had an idea. Commander Xerek, if Scout's presence affects your people this way, perhaps we should return him to my quarters for the remainder of your visit. Xerek's 4 eyes widened. No, the creature must remain. Its presence is significant. Lisa glanced at Alan, who raised an eyebrow. They both understood what was happening. The Draveri now believed humans had deliberately brought a powerful biological weapon to their meetings, a move so confident it bordered on arrogance. And in the strange logic of Draveri culture, that made humans worthy of respect. The mood on the U.S. horizon changed dramatically over the next day. The Draveri, once suspicious and threatening, now treated the humans with cautious respect. Instead of demanding to see weapons, they asked careful questions about Earth's animals, especially dogs. Lisa sat in her office with her senior team, Scout sleeping peacefully under her desk. I still can't believe our first alien alliance might depend on a puppy, Alan said, shaking his head. Natalie was reviewing data on her tablet. I've been analyzing the samples from Lieutenant Kras. The proteins in Scout's fur triggered something similar to an extreme allergic reaction in Draveri biology. But instead of just causing problems, it activated a defense system that enhances their physical abilities. Like a natural steroid, Ryan added. Exactly, Natalie agreed. And it seems all mammals from Earth might have similar effects on them. Before they could discuss further, Lisa's communication device beeped. Captain, Commander Xerek requests an urgent meeting. He says it's about something called the Void Collective. He seems worried. Lisa raised her eyebrows. Until now, Xerek had never shown any sign of worry. Tell him we'll meet in 10 minutes. When they gathered in the conference room, Lisa was surprised to see Xerek alone, without his usual officers. What I am about to share is known only to Draveri High Command, he began without greeting. We have been searching the galaxy not just for resources or territory, but for allies against a threat greater than any single species can face. He activated a holographic projector, showing a star map with several systems marked in red. 3 stellar cycles ago, we discovered the Void Collective, a parasitic species that absorbs all organic life in its path. They have already consumed 12 inhabited worlds. The humans stared at the map in silence. We have fought them, Xerek continued, but they adapt quickly. Each battle teaches them how to counter our weapons. We need new allies, new strategies, new weapons. He looked directly at Lisa. We originally dismissed your species as too weak and peaceful for this conflict, but now we understand your true strength. Our true strength? Lisa asked carefully. Your biological weapons, Xerek said, nodding toward Scout, who was sitting quietly beside Lisa's chair. Your pet's effect on Lieutenant Kras was remarkable. But more importantly, our scientists have discovered something incredible. He touched his device again, showing microscopic images. These are cells from the Void Collective parasites. And these, he changed the image, are the same cells after exposure to just a small sample of your pet's fur. The second image showed the cells breaking down, dissolving. The compounds in Earth mammals are deadly to the Void Collective, Xerek explained. Nothing in our arsenal affects them this way. Ryan leaned forward. That's why they've never attacked Earth, despite all the resources. Precisely, Xerek agreed. Your planet is toxic to them. They cannot approach without severe damage to their collective consciousness. Lisa tried to process this information. So you want our help against these parasites? Yes, an alliance between our species could save billions of lives across the galaxy. Xerek's voice grew solemn. The Draveri are warriors, but we cannot fight this enemy alone. We need your unusual approach to warfare. Lisa glanced at her team, seeing the same mix of shock and determination on their faces. "We're not warriors like you," she told Sarek, "but we will help fight to protect innocent lives." Sarek stood, towering over the humans. "Then let us form an alliance unlike any the galaxy has seen. The Draveri will provide ships and tactical knowledge. Humans will provide their unique biological advantages." And he paused, looking at Scout, their unconventional thinking. For the first time, Lisa saw something new in Sarek's 4 eyes. Hope. "There is much to plan," the alien commander continued. "But first, I must ask, do you have more of these creatures on your home planet?" Lisa couldn't help smiling. "Millions. Dogs, cats, rabbits. Earth has countless mammal species." Sarek made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Then perhaps the galaxy has a chance after all." As they discussed the details of their new alliance, Scout woke up, stretched, and placed his head on Lisa's lap. She stroked his fur absently, thinking about how this small creature had just changed the course of interstellar history. Sometimes, she thought, the greatest weapons come in the smallest packages. 2 weeks later, the U.S. horizon approached Earth with the Draveri flagship beside it. Several smaller alien vessels followed behind, forming an impressive fleet that caused quite a stir among Earth's defense forces. On the bridge, Lisa stood beside Commander Sarek, watching her home planet grow larger on the main screen. "It's beautiful," Sarek commented. "So much water, so much life. And all of it toxic to the Void Collective," Ryan said, checking readings on his tablet. "Our tests confirm that nearly all Earth mammals produce the compounds that destroy the parasites." The past 2 weeks had been busy. Scientists from both species had worked together to understand why Earth life was so deadly to the Void Collective. Meanwhile, military leaders had planned joint operations against the parasitic threat. And through it all, Scout had become something of a celebrity among the Draveri. Many of their warriors now wore small golden fur samples in special containers on their armor, partly as a weapon against the Void Collective, and partly as a symbol of the strange new alliance. "The United Earth Council is ready for our meeting," Greg announced from his station. "They're still processing the idea that our first alien alliance involves puppies." Lisa smiled. "I'm still processing it myself." As they prepared to beam down to Earth for the official treaty signing, Kelly approached with Scout, who now wore a small vest with both human and Draveri symbols. "He's ready for his diplomatic duties, Captain," she said, handing over the leash. Lisa looked at Sarek. "Are you sure about this part of the ceremony? It seems a bit dramatic." Sarek finished for her. "Perhaps, but symbols matter in war. The Void Collective has taken 12 worlds and spread fear across the galaxy. Now, all species will see that they can be defeated by something as small as this creature." Lisa couldn't argue with that logic. She had learned that in Draveri culture, symbolism was almost as important as actual strength. An hour later, they stood in the Grand United Earth Council chamber. Hundreds of human officials filled the room, along with representatives from every Draveri clan. News cameras broadcast the historic event to billions across Earth and the Draveri Empire. The Earth President stepped forward. "Today marks a new chapter in human history. Our first contact with another intelligent species has led not just to peace, but to a military alliance against a common enemy." She turned to Commander Sarek. "The Draveri have shown us that the galaxy is more dangerous than we imagined. But they have also shown us that different species can find common ground, even when they begin as strangers." Sarek bowed deeply. The Draveri once thought humans were weak because they valued peace. Now we understand that sometimes the greatest strength comes in unexpected forms. He gestured toward Scout, sitting calmly beside Lisa. "This small creature taught us that appearances can be deceiving. What seems harmless may be powerful. What seems different may be essential." The treaty was signed with great ceremony. Then came the moment Lisa had been preparing for. She stepped forward with Scout, addressing both humans and aliens. "As a symbol of our new alliance, We will create a joint fleet to face the Void Collective. These ships will carry both Dravari warriors and Earth's mammals, a combination our enemy cannot resist. She unveiled a large screen showing the design of the new vessels. Each ship bore an emblem that made Lisa smile, the silhouette of a small dog, standing tall and proud. The Void Collective has never faced a force like this before, she continued. They think they're the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. They're about to learn they're wrong. Zarak stepped forward to stand beside her. From this day forward, when our enemies hear us call to unleash the beasts of war, they will tremble. Scout chose that moment to bark happily, wagging his tail. The sound echoed through the chamber, making several Dravari warriors jump to spite themselves. Lisa looked down at the golden puppy, then back to the crowds watching them. Sometimes, she said, the greatest heroes come in the smallest packages. As humans and Dravari alike cheered, Scout sat down and cocked his head, completely unaware that he had just become the most famous dog in galactic history. The stars shimmered against the endless black void as the U.S. horizon cut through space like a silver needle. Inside the bridge, Captain Lisa Daniels stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching the main screen with intense focus. "Captain, we're picking up unusual energy readings," said Officer Greg Miller, his fingers dancing across the control panel. "Never seen anything like this before." Lisa nodded calmly. After 15 years in space exploration, she had learned to keep her emotions in check, track the source and maintain our distance, alert all senior officers. The energy signature grew stronger over the next few hours. Then, without warning, a massive ship appeared, twice the size of the horizon, with a strange metallic surface that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "It's definitely not human," whispered Kelly Wright, the communications specialist. Her voice was filled with both fear and excitement. This was what they had been searching for, proof that humanity was not alone in the universe. "Open all communication channels," ordered Lisa. "Standard greeting protocol." Minutes passed with no response. The tension on the bridge grew thick enough to cut with a knife. Then, suddenly, the main screen flickered to life. The face that appeared made several crew members gasp. Tall, with gray-blue skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, the alien had a crest of bone where hair would be on a human. Sharp teeth flashed as it spoke, its words translated through the ship's advanced AI system. "I am Commander Zarak of the Dravari Empire. Identify yourselves, creatures." Lisa stepped forward. "I am Captain Lisa Daniels of the U.S. Horizon, representing the United Earth Alliance. We come in peace and friendship." Zarak's upper eyes narrowed. "Peace is for the weak. The strong survive through power and conquest. How has your species managed to develop space travel with such gentle attitudes?" In her quarters after the tense first meeting, Lisa sighed heavily as she sat on her bed. A soft whine came from the small carrier in the corner, and despite her exhaustion, she smiled. "Come here, Scout," she called softly. A golden retriever puppy, only 12 weeks old, bounded out and jumped into her lap, licking her face enthusiastically. "At least someone's happy to see me," Lisa laughed, stroking the puppy's soft fur. Scout wasn't officially supposed to be on the mission, but the ship's doctor had recommended a support animal for the captain's stress levels on this historic journey. So far, Lisa had kept Scout hidden from their alien visitors. 3 days of difficult talks followed. The Dravari were warriors, suspicious of humanity's peaceful approach. They demanded to see the ship's weapon systems and seemed disappointed by what they found. "Your defenses are inadequate," Zarak declared during their 4th meeting. "How has your species survived this long?" Alan Martinez, the chief security officer, tried to explain. "We faced our share of wars on Earth, but we learned that cooperation often achieves more than conflict." Zarak and his officers exchanged looks that Lisa couldn't interpret. "Perhaps you hide your true strength," the alien commander suggested. "No species achieves space travel without being fierce when necessary." That evening, as senior officers gathered in the conference room to discuss the increasingly difficult negotiations, Alan noticed Lisa seemed distracted. "Everything okay, Captain?" he asked quietly. Lisa nodded toward her communication device. "Scout got out of my quarters somehow. Kelly found him and is watching him. But I'm worried about keeping him secret much longer." "Maybe we shouldn't," said Ryan Patel, the ship's engineer and xenobiologist. "I've been studying the data we have on the Draveri. They respect strength and what they call war beasts. Many warriors keep dangerous predators as companions." Lisa raised an eyebrow. "Are you suggesting we present my puppy as a war beast?" The group laughed, breaking the tension that had been building. None of them realized that their conversation was being monitored by curious Draveri eyes, or how drastically a small golden retriever puppy was about to change the course of interstellar relations.